to a special Donut Box episode of
Brutal Battle.
What is the Donut Box? Well, this is something that's very special that's put out by the Bruery, spelled B-R-U-E-R-Y. If you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know we are big fans of the Bruery. We're part of their now Hoarders Society membership. That's new in 2021 for us. Prior to that, we were part of the Reserve Society, and prior to that, the Preservation Society, which is kind of the tier ladder you have to climb. So we figured we got our hands on this donut box, this very special donut-inspired box of beers from the Bruery, and we figured this would be a really cool episode for a few reasons. One, these beers sound interesting. Two, they're based off donuts. Who doesn't love donuts? And three, a lot of people probably weren't able to get their hands on this box. So for anyone out there with curiosity about this box, here you go. We're going to taste the beers. We're going to break it down. And we'll also end up telling you kind of how they presented it because they had a really cool presentation to it. It wasn't just, hey, this is our box of donut beers. Here are the beers. They did a lot of interesting packaging with it. I was pretty blown away, to be honest. So it just goes to show that the Bruery, out of Placentia, California, by the way. Did I say that already?
No.
Okay, there you go. But they also have a location in D.C., which is where we pick up our beers.
Yeah, and we were just there to pick up beers, and they still had some donut boxes there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well then if you're hearing this in time, you can still get some of their donut boxes if you're on the East Coast at the D.C. store for the Bruery. I think they call it the Bruery Union Market.
Yeah.
So check that out. There are at least a few still available.
Yeah, they were stacked up there by the cash registers.
So before we get into the beers, what do you get in it? It's a very nice looking box that has branding on the outside of not only the Bruery, but all of the donut shops that the Bruery worked in collaboration with for each of their beers. Because each beer is based off a donut from a different donut place. And so we'll read the information on the beers because I'm sure they have information about that on each one. So as we go through, we'll do that. But so they had that branding. The box overall that holds everything is hot pink.
Yeah, it looks like a bakery box.
Yes, and that's the cool thing. Like, this is what I'm talking about with the cool branding of it. They made it look like a donut box. Then you open it up, and there's a lot of cardboard to kind of keep things from moving around because they have 8 beers in there. There's only 4 different beers, but there's 2 of each. So you get 4 different donut-inspired brews. All barrel-aged, by the way, which you'll find out as we go through. And they had them standing up. So they literally had like a piece of cardboard in the bottom that had slots for the beers to go into so they could stand up. So it was like 4 in a semicircle on one side and another 4 in the semicircle on the other side. And then in the middle, there are 2 glasses. And the glasses say the Bruery on them, and they're nice-looking glasses, but they also have like cartoon-looking donuts that have like arms and legs and faces, and they have beers with them as well. So it's like this cartoonish marriage of beer and donut. I think the design looks cool.
Oh, yeah, it's super cool.
It's fun. It's cool. I'm glad to get that glass. So 2 glasses come in that. Now, we split our box with some family members, so we only kept one of the glasses. So a little sad about that. Would like to have 2 of those glasses.
We don't have room for 2 glasses.
I know, we don't. But we would have made room in that instance. Because those are cool. We don't have, like, many cool-looking glasses like that. We have ones that just, like, have names of breweries for the most part. Which is fine enough. But also inside you have, like, a main card that kind of does the breakdown of all the beers and the inspiration and who they worked with. But then you also end up having little individual cards about each beer. And also each one of those has like a coupon on it for different things having to do with the donut shops. So like there were some I can't remember off the top of my head because we don't have it anymore. I didn't keep those, but I did take pictures of the box and the glass. So I do plan to try to remember to put that on the website. So if you go to brutalbattle.com, you can just look and see a picture of what the box looked like when I opened it, and then a picture of the beers and a picture of the glass. So you can see it there. But you can probably also just find that by just Googling, doing Google images and Bruery donut box, I'm sure. So, yeah. So just those individual cards with the coupons. And I think some of them had like X percent off of 12 donuts from this place.
Yeah.
You know,
But
things
I don't
like
think
that.
no one was close to us, so we...
Yeah. Well, and the last thing I want to say about the packaging, on the inside, they had a lot of the same images and like cartoonish donuts and beer that they did on the glass.
Oh, I didn't miss that.
Yeah. So, very impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
I thought it was going to be more plain than that, but they went above and beyond in my opinion, and I hope that shows up in the execution of the beers too, which I think will probably be the case. And the first beer we're going to do, now we're just going to run through the beers. The first one we're going to do, this is very different. So, Rebecca, you can take it away.
So this is called Cherry Blossom, spelled Blawesome. There, forgot the E in the end. It's a bourbon barrel-aged blonde stout with cherries, almonds, graham cracker, milk sugar, and Madagascar vanilla beans. And it is in collaboration with District Donut and Coffee, and it is 11.2%.
Now, to my knowledge, the brewery's never done a blonde stout. Or at least I've never known them.
Yeah.
I've never had access to any blonde stout ever. I've never seen anything about a blonde stout by them. So when I saw that there was a blonde stout, actually there are going to be 2 blonde stouts in this. When I saw that, I was like, that alone intrigued me to want to get the box. Because I'm like, that's not something they've ever done. And I mean, I got to try that. I mean, let's be honest, though.
You were going to get it anyway.
Right, exactly. I was going to get it anyway. So they're all 16-ounce cans, and let's get into it. I'm excited.
I mean, I've had blonde stouts before. I don't think I've ever had a barrel-aged blonde stout.
Yeah, we've never had barrel-aged blonde stouts before, and it's been a long time since we've had just like a straight-up blonde stout anyway.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. A long time. Okay.
So it's kind of like an amber.
Yeah, it's very like orangey, reddy, brown. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's got like a orangish tan head to it as well, with the way it's poured.
Real thick.
So, I mean, I guess blonde stout, but it doesn't look blonde.
Yeah.
But probably a lot of that comes from the extra ingredients, like the cherries and also the barrel aging and all that jazz. So,
get the cherries.
I definitely smell those cherries. It's a very distinct fruity note that just pops out in there.
That's kind of all I'm getting. I'm getting a little sweetness. It smells like a brown sugar.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely smell that kind of brown sugar note. I'm also getting a little bit of wood.
Are you?
From the bourbon barrel.
Okay.
But there's a decent sweetness on the nose. It's a lot more dialed back than I thought it would be nose-wise. But yeah, the brown sugar, definitely the cherries. Those are the 2 things that really, really stand out. And overall sweetness, the wood. I feel like if I really try, can I get a little bit of the almonds? Oh, maybe a little bit.
I'm going in.
I'm getting some of the vanilla too. It's very slight. It's very low. But yeah, still getting some of the vanilla. So...
a lot of cherry on the taste.
Whoa.
I don't think I've ever had
Oh my gosh.
Besides Mad Elf by Trogs, I've never had so much cherry in a beer.
And to be clear, it is cherries. It's not like cherry flavoring.
Yeah.
And it tastes like actual cherries. So it's pretty nice. It's like cherry. I get the brown sugar with the cherry though.
Yeah, and I'm getting the vanilla.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that vanilla really strikes. And it's interesting because the vanilla, along with the cherry and that brown sugar, like gives a creaminess to those 2 notes as well. It's like you're getting the vanilla, but you're also getting like this kind of creamy mouthfeel and creamy taste to go along with the vanilla, which is doing really nice things to the cherry because it feels like it's softening it.
And you don't really like cherries. How do you feel about this beer?
I like it. I mean, I typically am not a cherry fan, but if they're integrated in certain ways, like there have definitely been cherry beers plenty of times that I'm like, I don't really like cherry, but the way this is done, I'm down with it.
Yeah, I love cherries. I just will sit and eat a whole bowl of them.
So it's interesting because it's pretty light bodied.
I was just going to say, it's light and I don't perceive the ABV.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. What was it again? 10?
11.
Jesus. 11.2. It tastes like 9
Yeah.
to me, maybe. It's interesting because as I continue to taste it, I'm getting more used to the cherry. So more of that brown sugar is kind of coming through. And it's also tasting, along with the vanilla, it's tasting a little bit caramelly. Mm-hmm. And that's probably just coming from the bourbon barrel. But it's changing flavor-wise in my mouth. And it's softening. And it's becoming more robust. And it's becoming more nuanced.
Yeah, it's good.
It's serious flavors and a lot of flavor. But it also tastes way too light for what it is.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. In a dangerous way,
yeah.
though.
Yeah, no, I think it's light, it's flavorful.
I really like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
This was probably the one I was most hesitant about.
Because of the cherry?
Yeah, because with me, with other things too, like banana and spices and things like that in beers, it's always like this could be something I really don't like. So I'm glad it came out this way. I really enjoy this. So let me read about this. Cherry Blossom was inspired by a favorite donut of ours, released annually in D.C.
Oh, for the Cherry Blossom Festival.
To coincide with the Cherry Blossom season. The donut uses sour cherries, creamy frosting, interesting, almonds, and pie crust crumble. We did our darndest to recreate this donut experience in bourbon barrel-aged liquid form with our friends at District Donut.
Sounds like I'd like to eat that donut.
Well, after having this beer, yeah, I'd like to have that donut then.
So District Donut must be in D.C. I wonder if they did have coupons for them.
Yeah, well, Erica and Nathan have it now. We'll have to ask them to check those and be like, can you give it back? Because we'll go use it for those donuts. Okay, rinsing our glasses, and then we're going to the next one. Okay, so our next one is more of a traditional style barrel-aged stout. This is not one of the blonde ones. So, Rebecca, did you want to do that one up?
This one's called Caramel on Parade. It is a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with vegan caramel, cacao nibs, Madagascar vanilla beans, and pecans, and it is 10.3%, and it is in collaboration with Donut Friend.
This one sounds good, too.
I wonder what's up with the vegan vanilla.
Yeah. I mean, if you have your phone handy, you can look up what constitutes vegan vanilla. Vegan caramel.
Vegan caramel. Yeah, that's right. Vegan caramel.
Because caramel's made from brown sugar. But usually there's milk included. In there. So I wonder if it's like an alternative milk, like an almond milk or something like that. I don't know. Although they probably have to say that because people are allergic to nuts. So they probably have to call that out. I don't know.
Well, there's pecans in it, so nut allergists would...
Oh, well, there you go, yeah.
Not be able to drink this anyway.
Good point.
It's nice and dark.
Yeah, it is. Yep, it looks like you would assume for a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, you said 10.3. Okay, so this is almost a full percentage point lower. It's more, actually. Oh, whoa. Watch out there. It's condensation on that. Don't drop it. Yeah, so it just looks dark. It's got a decent head.
So chocolatey.
Jesus. It smells like chocolate milk.
Yeah, like it really does.
Smells like...
I guess that's just the cacao nibs.
Yeah, cacao.
I'm trying to think what else is...
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because there's almost like a little bit of like a malt.
Yes, it's like a chocolate malt. Like a Whopper chocolate malt.
I smell that caramel, too. That caramel's pretty strong. And I'm digging on that. I slightly smell the pecans.
Do you?
Yeah, slightly, but I think it's because I'm looking for it. If you just gave me this without letting me know what's in it, I'm not sure I could pick those pecans out.
Yeah, I can't pick them out.
As I sniff it, the caramel becomes stronger and stronger, and the vanilla's starting to show up, too. But yeah, it's mainly that chocolatey. It's just like...
So chocolatey.
Yeah. Milk chocolate. Yeah.
Smells good.
Yeah, it smells very good. It smells decadent because of how chocolatey that is.
Chocolate and caramel.
Jesus. That's those are the main flavors for sure.
Yeah, chocolate and caramel.
Oh my gosh. And it's got this kind of a drying finish to it.
Yeah, not too much.
I wasn't expecting that at all, but yeah, it's not a lot, but it's just kind of seems a little weird that there is a kind of drying finish to it. But that's kind of turning that kind of like milk chocolate flavor up front into a little bit of kind of like a dark chocolate flavor at the end with that dryingness and a little bit bitter kick.
Yeah, it's just like layers of chocolate upon chocolate and then
Caramel.
a little caramel. I don't think there's as much caramel as I would have liked.
Yeah.
It's there, but I would have liked more. And it's sweet, but not too sweet.
I get more of the bourbon notes in this beer than I do that cherry blossom. And I like that.
Yeah.
But maybe part of that's because, like, the caramel's enhancing your perception of the bourbon. Because that's something you typically will get with bourbon. Right. There is kind of, like, a vague nuttiness to it. But I can't pick out, there's pecans there.
Yeah. It's good, though.
But I do think that the pecans are probably contributing to the mouthfeel. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to read what's on the back here. It's hard to read because it's written in all capital letters.
Do you want me to read it from I have more light over this side. Okay. Caramel on Parade was inspired by a vegan donut from our buds at Donut Friend in Highland Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. This donut features a moist chocolate cake. Moist. People hate that word. This donut features a moist chocolate cake topped with caramel sauce. That sounds good. Toasted pecans and chocolate glaze. Yeah, so a lot of chocolate. And it blew our minds. We couldn't wait to get to work on turning this tasty treat into a barrel-aged drinkable donut. I mean, from what they're describing of the donut... really
rich and chocolatey, decadent.
It seems like what they described of the donut is coming through definitely in the beer. Yeah, I mean, this is like,
very chocolatey.
Certainly a dessert stout, as people call them, but... I'm digging both of these quite a bit.
They're good.
So I am wondering, though, like, a side-by-side taste test, what is the difference taste-wise between regular caramel and, like, a vegan caramel?
Probably nothing.
I feel like there's probably, like, at least a slight difference that you can tell.
I bet if you make it well, though, you can't tell the difference that well. Like, especially when you're eating it on something. If you're just going to eat a spoonful, maybe.
I think it would also depend on...
who made it.
Well, who made it, yes, but also who's tasting it. Like, how good are your taste buds with it? Because I'm sure, like, there are people who can't taste all that great, and they'll just be like, yeah, this tastes like caramel, yeah, this tastes like caramel. Like, they can't taste, like, deeper flavors or, like, differing flavors, but, yeah. Just a thinking out loud thing. All right, well, let's move on to the third beer, and we are going back to the Blonde Stout, which I'm excited most about this particular blonde stout. And this one is the Creme de la Creme, which is a bourbon barrel-aged blonde stout with dulce de leche, salt, and Madagascar vanilla beans. It's in collaboration with the Doughnuttery, and it is 11.1% alcohol. I've actually never heard of any of these donut places, by the way. But knowing that they make donuts, I would like to experience donuts from all of them. Yeah. Just because I like donuts. Rebecca actually is even more into donuts. Really love
donuts.
Yeah, it's one of her big weaknesses, she's always said. She has a hard time saying no to donuts. Okay.
Much like the other one, it's pretty amber in color.
Yeah. Which, once again, assuming that's coming a lot from the bourbon barrel. But yeah, it's like orangish, brownish. Not a whole lot of head hanging out on the top. A little bit, though.
Get that caramel.
The dulce de leche?
Yeah, I mean, it smells like caramel to me.
I feel like this is the one I smell the most booze on.
Yeah, I can see that.
You definitely can smell the heat from the alcohol on it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not getting a whole lot. It's like caramel and booze, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's all you are going to get,
right? And like just like this little sweetness to the nose that is coming off like a little sugary, but yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot more. It does smell very light, which I'm assuming is because of that blonde stout base. So that could be a really good thing because, like, with the cherry blossom, like how nice that was. They have like serious flavors, but also like a light body. But you already took your sip. I'll take mine. You go ahead and talk.
It's so caramelly.
Ooh. Isn't
it good?
I
think it's really good.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, this is excellent.
It's definitely sweet. It almost is too sweet, but I think it's within check.
Yeah, it's very caramelly, but it's also like sugary at the same time. It does remind me a lot of a creme brulee, how you have like that nice, well, like a caramel creme brulee maybe, where you have kind of like that caramelly custard, but then you also have that layer of caramelized sugar on top.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of like sugary sweetness to it. And like you said, it's going up to that line of getting to potentially be too sweet, but I don't think it quite steps over that line.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hitting the perimeter of it and being like, maybe I'll go over, and then it doesn't. I get a very present heat from the alcohol in the back of my throat.
Yeah, you can definitely perceive the booze more, I think, in this one than we did the other two, for sure. And we got that on the nose and in the taste.
Yeah. That said, it's still very smooth. Mm-hmm. Every time I take a sip, there's this really nice smoothness. And I think part of it is because it's actually kind of creamy, too. And I think that's where the vanilla is really coming in. And I'm tasting the vanilla as well, going along with the caramel. Oh. So we have our first two beers already sitting here, laid out in the order that we like them. And Rebecca already moved this can somewhere. I'm not going to spoil where it's going, but she moved it into her ranking place.
Do you want to read the text on the back?
Yes, I will. But one last thing. I think the salt is helping with that creamy softness to the beer as well. So I really like that in there. But it really is tasting a lot to me like a creme brulee dessert.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming that's what it was
I think
about.
the booziness helps balance the sweetness, though, too.
Yes. That's a good point. I agree with that.
I think it's good. I really like it.
You're really perceiving the booze, but it's not distracting. Like, it's not taking away from the beer, which is kind of a weird thing, because usually if you're really perceiving the booze that much, it is taking away from the beer in some way. But I don't know. And I love the light body of this. I think the blonde stout base is really a great choice for this particular one. Mm-hmm. Ooh. That's really good. Okay. So, creme de la creme was inspired by a donut that was inspired by the classic dessert creme brulee. I assume so. Our friends at the Doughnuttery are absolute wizards when it comes to taste, so we did our best to follow suit as fellow flavor friends. We decided to create a brand new bourbon barrel-aged blonde stout to recreate the toffee, burnt sugar, and vanilla notes present in the donut. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
We do enjoy.
Yeah, we do enjoy.
We will enjoy. We definitely enjoyed.
Ooh.
Good thing that one wasn't open. You almost had that tumble.
Almost knocked that on the floor. Yeah. Okay. So our last beer is Abuelita's Special, which is a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with cacao nibs, cocoa powder, Madagascar vanilla beans, and cinnamon. It is 10.5%, and it is in collaboration with Trejo's Coffee and Donuts.
Yes, that Trejo. Danny Trejo, the actor, who I like, and Rebecca has found an appreciation for after watching and loving
Con Air.
Yeah, she thought, going into it, she's just like, I don't know about this movie. And then we got done with it, and what was your review on it?
I was like, I want to watch it again.
It is a fun movie. It really holds up, in my opinion. It's just like nonstop action and adventure, and Danny Trejo's in it. So, Danny Trejo actually has put his money into a lot of businesses. I didn't know about Trejo's Coffee and Donuts until I saw the information on this donut box. I knew that he had a taco place.
Oh, really?
That he has some locations of. At least one location. I don't know if there's more. But I didn't know about Trejo's Coffee and Donuts. So
I look like there's an image of him on the side.
Yeah. Part of his face. The taco place has his face as well.
Oh, okay.
So, using the branding because people know him. So it's smart. But this is the prettiest can because it's like a bright pink. It matches the box that we were talking about that the donut beers were coming in. So, I really like the look of it. But I'm excited to get into this one. If you can't tell, we thought the last two beers... We saved the last two beers to be our last two beers because we thought they sounded the best. And we also wanted to alternate. We didn't want to have the blonde stouts.
You didn't rinse them, did you?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
That should be fine. I mean, if it would be a problem if we were going from this one to the blonde.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem if we go from the blonde to this. Because it's lighter.
It's dark.
Yep. I mean, it looks like the Caramel on Parade. Super dark. Although it has a darker head to it than I think the Caramel on Parade did. It's even more dark brown. Looking good, though. Ooh.
It smells so good. It smells like a churro.
It kind of does smell like a churro, actually. Because there's that very present cinnamon with like a nice kind of bready sweetness on the nose.
Or like a cinnamon donut.
It really does it does kind of smell like cakey fried.
Like a streusel.
It's very interesting. In a great way. I love that. You're definitely, obviously, getting a lot of chocolate with cacao nibs and cocoa powder in it. There's no way you're not going to get a bunch of that.
A lot of chocolate, a lot of cinnamon.
And it's interesting because the smell is very much like that mixture of like a dark and a milk chocolate coming together to just be like this chocolate explosion. But the cinnamon is very, very present as well. Like the cinnamon was the first thing that hit me on the nose. And you know how I am with spices in my beers. I think it smells appropriate for what the other flavors are, level-wise, aromas are. Hopefully it tastes the way it smells, because then it should be within balance for someone like me. But we'll find out. It smells excellent. I love the smell of this.
It's very balanced.
Ooh.
That cinnamon's really in check.
I'm okay with the cinnamon. For me personally, I'd kind of like a little bit less cinnamon perception, but I'm very particular about that, so I can see where most people would probably drink this and be like, I like where the cinnamon is.
Yeah, I like it.
I'd like it dialed back a little bit more, but I still enjoy the beer. There's so much chocolatey goodness to this beer.
Yeah. And
the cinnamon just kind of like hangs out on top of each sip.
This is another one that's just very, they all are very desserty.
I mean, they're all decadent,
Yeah.
And at this point, we broke it into two, so we already had finished the Caramel on Parade and the Cherry Blossom. And as those warmed up, you got even more of the caramel in the Caramel on Parade and even more of the cherry in the Cherry Blossom. So I'm assuming you'll get even more of the cinnamon when this one warms up, and probably even more of kind of like probably the vanilla in the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
You're already getting a lot of the caramel.
Yeah, because that caramel's already like insane, in my opinion.
Or the dulce de leche.
Mm. Yeah. That cacao and cocoa, the way they mix those two together, it's really cool because it's like I was saying on the nose, where you feel like you're getting milk and dark chocolate at the same time. Like you have that bit of like a drying note too from like real concentrated dark chocolate, but then you have that milk chocolate that's creating that kind of creaminess as well with the chocolate.
Yeah, and it kind of like you were saying, like the dark chocolate makes it so it's not overly sweet because you're getting that dark, kind of a little bitter.
Yeah, exactly.
A little chalky, a little ashy.
And here's the thing. I'm liking this more now, too, because as I continue to drink it, my palate's getting more used to that cinnamon. Mm-hmm. So it's doing this thing where, like, my perception of the chocolate is increasing as my perception of the cinnamon is decreasing. So it's actually getting now to a level where I'm liking it more.
Okay.
So
I like it a lot.
And I'm starting to get that vanilla coming through, too.
Okay.
These are all excellent beers.
Yeah.
I love them. This one, the Abuelita Special, is actually now kind of reminding me of, like, those chocolate cake donuts that are usually my favorite style of donuts. I'm more into, like, the dense chocolate cake ones than anything, so it's just reminding me of that. This is going to be hard. I like them all a lot.
Do you want to read what's on the back of the Abuelita Special?
Oh, yeah. I should. Good thing you're on top of things, because I'm not. Abuelita Special was inspired by a very special donut made by our friends at Trejo's Donuts in Los Angeles. Abuelita's is a raised donut with dark chocolate and dark chocolate crumble. As soon as we tasted this delightful pastry, we knew it was a winner and set our minds toward recreating it in a drinkable form, barrel-aged style. Well, they did a really good job. Well, I mean, we haven't had the donut, so we don't know. We'd like to have the donut.
Yeah. It'd be so cool if they could sell the beers with the donuts.
Right. And I'll just put this out there. If any of these donut places hear this episode and, want to, like, ship us donuts or something, we would definitely do a showcase of your donut place on an episode where we pair other beers with your donuts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just saying. So District Donut, Donut Friend, The Donuttery, and Trejo's Coffee and Donuts. The ball's in your court.
Yeah, here's your opportunity.
I assume that none of them will hear this, but if they did, it would be awesome. And we would accept those donuts. Mm-hmm. But anyway, email at brutalbattlepodcast@gmail.com about those donuts. Just saying. So now we're going to have to do the ranking, which I'm still undecided on my 2 and 3 at the moment.
Can't retaste.
Right. I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going, though. Okay. I'm locked in. You go ahead.
Okay. So my number 4 is the Cherry Blossom, which is the bourbon barrel-aged blonde stout with cherries, almonds, graham cracker, milk sugar, and Madagascar vanilla beans. My number 3 is the Caramel on Parade, which is the bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with vegan caramel, cacao nibs, Madagascar vanilla beans, and pecans. My number 2 is Abuelita Special, which is the bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with cacao nibs, cocoa powder, Madagascar vanilla beans, and cinnamon. And my number 1 is the Creme de la Creme, which is the bourbon barrel-aged blonde stout with dulce de leche, salt, and Madagascar vanilla beans.
So I'm a little different. Close. My number 4 is the Cherry Blossom, even though I think it's very impressive and very good. My number 3 is going to be the Abuelita Special by a nose. My number 2 is going to be the Caramel on Parade, and my number 1 is the Creme de la Creme as well. So our 1 and 4
are the same.
Definitely the same. All of them are great. Kind of sad we didn't just get an entire box for ourselves. Although they still have a few.
They do.
If we go down again and it's still there, we might have to get it.
We're not going down anytime soon, though.
Well, okay. Whenever we go down next, if there's any still there. Which, honestly, if people are hearing this and they're in the vicinity, shame on you if we go down in some months and it's still there. Because you should be jumping on that. Because these are awesome. I love it. So once again, if you want to see the pictures of the box itself, the glass, and also the beers, you can check that out on the website, brutalbattle.com. You can also get old episodes there, or you can get them from archive.org, which is where we host our files. You just search Brutal Battle. Like I said, you can email us with, ideas of beers you want on the podcast or certain types of episodes we haven't done in a while that you want us to. brutalbattlepodcast@gmail.com. Help us out by rating and reviewing us on whatever podcatcher you use. iTunes helps the most, but whatever you can review us on would help out. And also word of mouth is great. Follow us on Untappd. I am Carlin Cook, Carlin C.
I'm Rebecca C.
And then the last portion.
Instagram, Brutal Battle Podcast.
And the Instagram, if you want to follow something of us, Untappd and Instagram are the best, by far, because that's what has the most traffic and activity. We do have a Facebook page, but I've pretty much abandoned it because there wasn't a whole lot going on with it anyway. It's just a pain to update and stay up to date with, and yeah, I'm busy. We're all busy. So yeah, but we're going to enjoy finishing these off. And thank you, the Bruery, for doing really fun stuff like this. I know they'll continue to do more kind of fun stuff like this, so I look forward to it. I think maybe next a pie box, or an ice cream box, or a brownie box, or how about a cupcake box? Is there anything else that could be like kind of like real different? Maybe like a main course box where they kind of like try to base beers off some interesting main courses.
That would be gross, I think.
Well, it depends on how you do it. It depends on what you choose and how you do it. And they can even do it not where like they base the beer inspired off of it, but instead they base it as it's supposed to be a pairing for a certain dish. That's probably how you'd have to do the main course one. But the possibilities are endless, and the Bruery's very creative and very good at what they do, so I'm sure we have more in store. And when they're happening, we'll be doing episodes for them. So I think the next big one you can probably look for is the Black Tuesday box, which we should probably end up doing toward the end of this year or beginning of next year. So look forward to that. Those are always fun. But thank you, everyone, for checking this out. Until next time.
Keep it brutal.